Welcome to the Community Collective podcast. I'm Johnny B. Good, the flip-flop agent, and I've partnered with the Davison Area Chamber of Commerce to bring you the stories that shape our local communities. In our third season, our focus is about connecting, learning, and celebrating the voices that make our communities unique. Join us during this third season as we engage in thoughtful conversations and insightful moments. This podcast is commercial-free and supported by both myself, my co-host, and our guests. We would be so appreciative if you could like, share, and subscribe as we continue having conversations that matter, and cannot thank you enough for taking the time to listen. Welcome to another episode of the Community Collective podcast. Man, oh man, we have got some big time guests for season 3. We are just cranking it out. But before we get into our special guest for today's episode, Travis, you've graced me with your presence yet again. How have I become so lucky?
This has just been the best day of two guys having some good conversations, right?
There you go. I'm sitting here in my Under Armour joggers, sitting in my office, drinking some coffee. So the day's pretty doggone good. I will say that we've had some fun already today, doing a few podcasts earlier, but I'm excited for today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest and let's hit some questions and see what we can make happen here.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this one. Our guest today is someone that you have seen around town or at every sporting event for Davison Community Schools. We're very lucky to have Dave Beamer, the Davison Community Schools Athletics Director. Dave, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it. I was looking forward to this. Once I heard you guys starting up this podcast, which is how long ago was it when you guys started this thing up?
We're just maybe about a year into it. We're going into what we call our season 3, and we've added some new hard-hitting questions to really get to know our guests, and we're ready to put you to the test with it.
No, I'm looking forward to it, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, good. Well, Dave, I know it's been nice to run into you at sporting events, and then I know for myself, I've had a chance to chat with you at youth football games when our sons were on the same team, and I know you're a little bit of everywhere. We're excited to just get a chance to chat with you, kind of learn more about you. So we'll jump right in. In your role as athletic director, how do you see sports contributing to the overall development of students, both in terms of physical health and character building?
Yes, obviously the you hear it all the time, and obviously being a student athlete, high schooler or school student athlete, obviously your kids are developing discipline and character and teamwork, perseverance, leadership skills, things like that. The physical part of it, obviously, they're staying fit. They're practicing every day. They're being active. So that's all part of it. But I also think it makes them realize the importance of being part of not only a team but a community, and making sure that those people and those groups that you are a part of are proud of the things that you're doing, and the relationship building skills. It's a lot of stuff that I think beyond high school, when they're done with high school, whether they go on to college or go on to do something else, they're able to use those skills, but not only those skills, but also have the understanding of the importance of being part of a group and a community, and being proud in that and taking pride in that. So I think all those things rolled into one as far as just the things that I think kids take away with them as student athletes.
Well, and I know it's such an important role. My son, as an example, I mean, he's 9, and then this past summer had the chance to do the Davison High School football camp, and he was all geeked out and excited about it because he got to meet, the varsity football players. He got to go out on the field, and that really stuck with him and got him excited about stuff. And when he has seen the basketball players or football players around town, they'll wave to him. Even they might not know who he is, which is fine. They're setting an example for him. And I know my daughter does middle school sideline cheer, really looks up to the fact that the JV and varsity cheerleaders spend time with them and help them practice. It's a community thing. They're all interacting with each other, and it really helps them set goals and kind of get excited about being part of something.
And that's awesome to hear. And I think our kids, that's a big deal to them, to understand that the younger kids look up to them. And that's a big responsibility too. But there's a lot of life lessons in that.
And this is a kind of a little side question. I mean, were you a athlete yourself? And then if so, like what sports did you get involved in?
Yeah, I was. So I played in middle school. I played baseball. I think I played basketball maybe for 1 year. My height didn't help me out. I realized that young and gave that up. I played football in middle school, but my biggest sport was baseball, which I played throughout middle school and high school. Played on the varsity baseball team. So I had a great experience with that. And I was lucky to be able to play those sports right here at Davison and graduate from Davison, which makes this position that much more special to me for sure.
It sounds like you're in the perfect role for someone that really appreciates and knows the value of being part of those teams.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
So now I know when we've seen you around town and at sporting events, we don't always know what all is involved in the athletic director role. So, what have been some of the biggest challenges and successes you've experienced in managing such a diverse range of sports programs with Davison Community Schools?
Yeah. The first year I took on this position, which was, I think it was 10 or 11 years ago, which seems like forever, but I never realized what all goes into this job. There's so many hats that you have to wear. And so I think challenges would just be you get spread pretty thin, trying to be everywhere all at once, wanting to be everywhere all at once. And then also all the backstage stuff that you have to do too, the scheduling conflicts, the rescheduling of events. The good thing about it, which is also a challenge, is every day is a new day and you never know what's going to happen. I've had to move soccer goals down to Collins Field because something was going on at our soccer field. I've painted fields. I've sold tickets. I've announced at games, ran the clock at games. And that's a challenge, but it's also the exciting part of the job too, because every day is a different day and every day is a new adventure. So I think that's the challenge part is the amount of stuff that goes into it. And I think the success part really, the success is seeing the success of our student athletes and our programs and our teams and the pride they take into it. And then the pride that our community takes into it too. It's great to see student athletes succeed. It's even better to watch student athletes succeed at the high school level and get scholarships and be able to go on and play at the next level in college. I think that's huge too. Those are the positives and those are the things that make all the other stuff worthwhile.
Well, and I think it's important too that you have constantly said student athletes. I feel like every time I'm looking around and you see listed that Davison, all the teams are all academic, like conference or all academic, they're reaching a certain GPA as a team. And
Yep.
I think they're not only out there competing and showing how Davison sports are, but they're really showing how good of an education they're getting. And I think that's such a great example for our kids, but then also when they're traveling to other communities, that's something that, student athletes,
Yes.
showing off what our community has to offer.
We have a very high percentage of all academic kids. We celebrate them and recognize them at the end of the school year at one of the last board meetings of the school year. It's hundreds of kids, and obviously don't all show up, but it is truly hundreds of kids that get that all academic certificate, which is huge. And that is important to us, that it's student athletes. It's not just athletes. And if they want to go on to college and play at the next level, they got to get the grades. And even if not, you got to get the grades and you got to do well in school if you're going to be successful after high school anyway. So that is important to us. It's important to our coaches, and it's something that we work hard at doing. So
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And I know it's probably hard to think of everything all at once. You're helping move soccer goals. You're out there helping kids. I'm sure there's some of them that come to you and ask questions, well, hey, I need help with this. And you're like, hey,
right.
you need to go this way. So you're that mentor that you know the value of playing sports. You know the value of staying academically doing well, which is I think really good for a community to hear and see because there's so many students that are out there working hard. And this is why I'm really curious to know this one. So how do the school's athletic programs engage with and receive support from the local community? And can you share of any examples of a community partnership or initiatives that have been involved with athletics?
And just throwing it out there, before I get to that question, I do have a lot of help.
It's all about a team.
Yeah, I have a great support system that starts with my family and my wife that supports me in doing this because believe me, it's a tough job and it's a lot of late nights. And I have a great middle school athletic director, Randy Schlack, who's amazing. And we're a great team together and get through a lot of the tough times when need be and help each other out. And I have a great secretary in Carrie Bruce. So there's a huge team that goes into it. So I don't want to make it sound like it's just me and I'm doing
That's good. You know what? With the chamber, I know how important it is to have that team. This podcast, if it wasn't for Johnny helping with a lot of stuff and everyone else, I get it. So that's good. I'm glad to hear a good shout out for all of those valuable team members that you have.
Yeah. Yep. And so as far as the community goes, the community is obviously huge to us. And we're very blessed to have an amazing community support system and an amazing community as far as just local leaders and business owners that are always willing to help out. We've done a lot of things with a lot of different businesses around town. I think one thing that we want to get better at is creating more of those relationships. And I know that's something that I've even talked to Superintendent Matt Loban about, as far as doing some more things with our community businesses, as far as doing some sponsorship stuff and some advertisement stuff and donation stuff. I think that's important I'd like to get better with that. But we have great businesses out there that help us a lot. Hank Draft, Todd Wenzel, and I'm probably going to miss somebody, Jason Ford over at Cottage Inn. And I don't think it would matter what business that I reached out to, they'd be willing to help and support us. Ken Elliott over at Hilton Screeners is huge, and he works with me on the Real Men Wear Pink thing that I do every.
Yes.
And so we are very blessed to have an amazing community full of amazing business owners and leaders. But that is something that I think moving forward, I'd like to get more involved in, as far as just community sponsorships and things like that.
I know there's probably so many businesses that are involved in athletics, and there's so many sports opportunities for kids that each team is getting a business, or a business says, hey, I want to help out, which is great. Now, I will have to ask this. Is it kind of weird sometimes when you see a kid walking around with Real Men Wear Pink and your face is on their shirt?
I just saw one yesterday. That's funny that you say that. Yeah, it is. And that was not my idea. That was Ken Elliott's idea, owner of Hill and Screeners, that he surprised me with that, I think, a few years ago. And now it's just become the thing.
I love Ken's humor. And I think it really is. I love that he kind of snuck that in on you and let it be a little bit of a surprise for a good cause. And I know that's important to you and your family to do that. I'm glad you are getting conversations started. I know for me, I've had to learn more and more what an important role local businesses and organizations play in our community. And so I'm glad that you're working towards that. And not that they're looking for recognition, but thanks for including them and getting them involved. And I think that's good for our student athletes to see too, to learn what's out there.
Well, and getting them involved more in the community too. We had some athletes that went out and did the Shop of the Hero thing not too long ago. And those kids love doing that. They do. They love getting out in the community and helping out. And again, it reminds them of just how important they are to the community.
I love that Travis was able to spend the time talking about the community, but I'm all done talking about the community. I want to talk about sports, because that's where you shine. And I love it because I always have referred to you as Hummingbird Dave. And my kids always laugh at that and they don't understand. I'm like, it's just because he's anywhere and everywhere. You look left, he's there. You look, he's still there. He's running up the stairs here, there, and everywhere at all these different events and games. And I absolutely love to see that energy and that enthusiasm. And it is contagious. But let's circle back around. Davison's football team has been recognized for its fantastic performance for consecutive years now. Could you share some of the highlights of the recent achievements and the impact that these have had on the school and on the community spirit?
Yeah, they've had a heck of a run. We brought Coach Weingartz on, 5 or 6 years ago, I think it was, from another district. He's been great coaching staff. The football team, they've been to the semifinals, the D1 semifinals, I think 3 out of the last 5 years. Made it to Ford Field those 2 years in a row. Back in 2019, 2021, we're fortunate enough to win a state championship and then runner-up the following year. They've won, probably 3 or 4 district championships, 3 regional championships, league championships. They've had a heck of a run. And it's been awesome to see. But again, I think what causes that is the staff that we have and the coaching staff that we have. We have an awesome football coaching staff. Coach Weingartz has done a great job with bringing guys in and retaining guys when he came in. But, I think right now, currently, I think we have 4 assistant varsity football coaches that were head coaches at one time or another, D1, D2. So that's huge. There's not many districts, there's not many football programs in the state of Michigan, I think, that can say that they have that many head coaches that can come together for one goal. And it goes back maybe a little bit and be a part of a special program. And I think that's what has created the program that we have now. I can't remember where I was not too long ago over on the west side of the state, and somebody saw that I was wearing something from Davison, and that was one of the first things that they said was, "Oh, Davison, hey, you guys have a heck of a football program, heck of a wrestling program." And I take pride in that for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And while football has always received the lion's share of the attention, just given the fact that there can be so many spectators and it's streamed online and all these different things, it absolutely doesn't overshadow the other student athletes and the other sports. Outside of football, there are so many other sports that our students have excelled in. Can you share some of those achievements, as they don't tend to get as much spotlight as football does?
Yeah, that's a tough one because first of all, I have to say I think we are definitely blessed to have a district that has every one of our athletic programs. I think has some success here or there, that they're doing something great.
Sure.
We have a lot of programs. We have over 25 different programs. They're all successful, and so we're blessed. There's not a lot of districts that can say that and carry that many programs that can be successful. But obviously, our wrestling program is a top ranked program every year in the state and even nationally. They were able to put together a couple state championships a few years ago. So past few years, individual state championships for wrestlers. I think we broke a record a few years ago with the amount of placers that we had at the state finals. Our bowling team is always up there. Coach Tubbs does a tremendous job with that bowling program. And we were lucky enough to hire his daughter, Kaylee, who's an All-American bowler, to come and take over the girls program this year. So the bowling team's always up there. Man, I know I'm going to miss someone and someone's going to get mad at me, but Doug Towler, our hockey coach, just recently became the winningest high school hockey coach in the state of Michigan in history with his 630th win. That's huge. I think the next active coach that's even close to him is at like 400 and something. So that was huge. That was huge for Coach Towler to be able to do. But yeah, all of our programs are special. All of our programs do great things, whether it's in the classroom or on the court or field or whatever it is. I hate to leave any of our programs out when we talk about success stories.
And let's just put the disclaimer in there. If you get upset that Dave didn't mention your program, you can send me an email, johnny@flipflopagent.com. You can take all your aggression out on me because we're giving him a very limited amount of time. So
right.
Again,
our volleyball program was undefeated this year and won a league championship too. So
there you go. You know what? You can send me a list and I'll add it to the show notes for this episode. How about that?
Sounds good.
Perfect. My last question for this episode, this podcast, looking ahead, what is your vision for the future of athletics at Davison? Are there any new programs, facilities, initiatives in the pipeline that you're excited about that you're able to share with us at this point?
Yes. As far as vision, our vision is always going to be the same, which is just continuing to build great Davison made student athletes. And when I say Davison made, that's special to me. Davison made means that you graduate from Davison High School and you walk away with great life lessons and integrity and loyalty and all that. So I think that's always going to be our vision, is building great human beings that go on after high school and do great things in life. But things that I'm looking forward to, I'm definitely looking forward to the next phase of the bond proposed construction stuff. After the performing arts wing is done, we will be building a brand new weight and fitness room. It's about a 6,000 square foot, I think, weight and fitness room, a new athletic meeting room, a new wrestling room, which will then help us build some new offices and locker rooms. And then also a college type film room too, for our athletes to be able to sit with coaches and watch film and stuff. So that's going to end up on the north side of the high school, and it'll take up where the auditorium is now, the band room and the choir room. So that'll be a whole athletic wing over there. The designs look awesome as far as just glass windows looking out to the football stadium. And so I'm excited for that for sure. And then I think green stuff down the road. And Mr. Loba might get mad at me for this one, but I know I would love at some point in time to be able to build an indoor turf facility somewhere around here in Davison, because I think that would be amazing as far as just where we're located, is to have something like that. More and more schools start to do those kinds of things. And I think that would just help us as far as Davison and Davison athletics and Davison community goes. So we could use it in so many different ways. So that's like my dream way down the road, but I'd love to see something like that happen.
There you go. We just have to find that multi-million-dollar benefactor.
Yeah.
If we find him, we can definitely put him to work. That's for sure.
Yeah. I told my football coach the other day, I said, if I would have won that Powerball, we'd have one for sure. So,
Oh, there you go. There you go. Perfect.
Man, with all these developments and new things coming, I feel like I want to, sign back up for some sports again. I mean, with my height and size, they probably think I'm in high school still. So, yeah, I'm ready to go.
You and me both, man. You and me both.
On a personal level, I always enjoyed coaching your son when I had him for that one season in DCFC. We had a tremendous amount of fun coaching him there in soccer. And then your wife and I had spent a few field days play with the kids as well. So that's always fun. So on a personal level, knowing that you guys, not only do you have your position as athletic director, but your family has been fantastic to engage with, and they participate in so many of the great things that happen in and around Davison. We're fortunate to have you as an asset in the schools and in the community, and keep up the great work, man. You're doing fantastic, and we're looking forward to what you do in the future.
Man, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And that means a lot coming from you guys to hear that kind of stuff. So that's why I do what I do. I want to make Davison proud. And that I hope that trickles down to our student athletes and our coaches and as well. So we're trying to make Davison proud, and we'll continue to do that.
That excitement's everywhere. Like Johnny mentioned, you see it on the fields, we're hearing it about it in the classroom, and just that engagement everywhere. And so I think, Dave, that's from, you and your team, and spreading out to the coaches and the players of every sport and getting out there. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking some time today. I think it shows that not only did you grow up in Davison and play sports here, but you found a role as athletic director that you can give back to the place that gave you so much. And I love that. And, for someone that moved up here, it's great to see someone who is committed to the community and want to come back here and play a big role in it.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. And I'll give a shout out to Eric Liskey, our old superintendent, because he's the one that talked me into coming back here and teaching in the classroom. So,
well, good. Well, Dave, thank you so much for taking some time and joining us on the Community Collective podcast today.
Awesome. I appreciate it, guys. Good luck with the rest of the season, and I'm sure I'll see you around.
And that's a wrap on another episode of the Community Collective podcast. I am Johnny B. Good, the flip-flop agent, along with my co-host, Travis Howell, and it has been a pleasure bringing you today's conversation. A huge thanks to our guest, Dave Beamer, for sharing his invaluable insights and experiences. His commitment to Davison Community Schools and its athletic programs is truly inspiring. Dave wanted me to also extend a special shout out to some key members of our community. Jason Crum's work with the Hub Center is exceptional. It's become a crucial space for students to unwind after games and serves as a venue for our Davison athletic banquets and team meetings. The role you play in fostering a vibrant community space is deeply appreciated. And a big thank you to Dave Weir for his incredible support as well. Dave's dedication, especially in mobilizing volunteers to clean our stadiums after homecoming games, is a testament to your commitment to our community and its athletic programs. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in. If you've enjoyed our conversation, please share and subscribe. Your support enables us to continue bringing together voices that shape our community. And remember, we're always eager to hear from you. Feel free to join the conversation by emailing us at podcast@flipflopagent.com. Stay tuned for our next episode. They're released every Friday, where we'll be exploring more stories from our community. It's all about connecting, learning, and celebrating the spirit that binds us. Until next time, keep supporting each other and stay community strong.